What's the address of the emergency?
This 911 call has never been broadcast before.
Please, your doctor.
We want to warn you, it's disturbing.
Tell me exactly what happened. I need to take off my clothes. I said, I want to go back. I want to go back to my friends. And he said, no.
But Abby Honold says it's important for people to hear it.
He just got raped.
Abby is the one who's just been raped.
You raped me.
Do you hate Daniel?
I don't think I have enough words for the disgust that I have for him as a human being.
Abby Honold never thought rape would happen to her.
I had great friends. I was living in an apartment that I loved. I kind of had it made.
She was a beautiful, popular, and smart junior at the University of Minnesota.
I knew what I wanted to do with my life.
What?
I knew I wanted to teach, and I loved it.
But Abby's life would change forever one chilly morning at a college football tailgate party.
What happened?
I woke up that morning and I went to our football game against Iowa. I started drinking pretty early in the morning.
Buzzing a little, you think?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely drinking, and I don't try to hide that because it's just the truth.
And then you meet somebody named Daniel.
Yes.
How?
A friend of mine introduced me to him, and he told me that Daniel was gay and that, you know, he was a big fan of Daniel.
Daniel Drill Mellum was a good-looking 21-year-old senior. He had the reputation of a wealthy fraternity boy who once interned with Minnesota's governor.
I kind of introduced myself to him, and we're all kind of standing around drinking together in a group.
First impression?
Didn't think much. He did start grabbing me at a certain point, but because my friend had told me he was gay, I figured that he was just being a little too drunk and overly friendly.
About 30 minutes later, Abby says Daniel asked her to help grab some more alcohol from his apartment just across the street.
At first, I kind of resisted and said no a few times. I didn't really know him. But of course, the prospect of going for a few minutes and then coming back didn't seem that dangerous.
Do you kind of feel like you had this kind of a blind trust?
At that point, I had never had any reason to not trust friends of friends, especially in the middle of the day. There weren't any red flags for me.
Abby eventually agrees, and the two head toward Daniel's apartment.
Do you remember the walk?
Not really. I was told that I seemed happy, I was smiling. So I was having a very fun day.
When did the fun turn?
The fun turned for me the minute I walked into Daniel Drumellum's apartment. I would say that's when I immediately knew that there was something wrong.
Like Jekyll and Hyde, different person than you experienced before?
Yes, his personality changed within seconds in the apartment. He kept calling in the doors to make sure that no one was there.
Like saying, anyone home, anyone home? Like,
You know, and he'd look around and then he'd shut the door, and I felt very uncomfortable with that.
Although her gut was telling her to get out of there, Abby says she didn't want to appear rude, so she reluctantly stayed.
If I was near the door, I didn't really think that there would be a problem.
But there was.
There was.
Abby noticed two pre-poured shots sitting on the kitchen counter.
He'd picked up the shots from the counter and he said, "Let's drink these." I said no. And he started backing me towards the wall with the shot glass in his hand.
The shots were supposedly pure vodka, but police reports reveal neither Abby nor the glasses were tested for any date rape drugs.
You guys take the shots?
I don't remember. That's the one point of my memory that's missing.
Abby blacked out. When she came to, sheer terror. She was pinned down on Daniel's bed, and he was ripping her clothes off.
I'd never experienced terror at that level before.
Abby begged and pleaded through tears for Daniel to stop.
He enjoyed that I was upset.
She says she was so desperate, at one point she tried to make a deal with Daniel, claiming she actually offered to perform oral sex. Abby says she felt she was negotiating for her life.
What you felt you had to do to survive is in violation of what any human being should have to feel.
I was hysterical.
But Abby says Daniel wouldn't stop.
Was he violent?
Yes.
Violent does not begin to describe the vicious attack. Abby says Daniel left claw marks all over her body, bit large chunks of flesh out of her breasts, and stuck his fist so far down her mouth he sliced open part of her tongue.
It's almost like everything is going in slow motion.
Abby says she was paralyzed with fear, but she was determined to survive.
He had raped me 2 times at that point, and I had started fighting him.
Finally, Daniel gets mad and lets Abby go. She runs for her life and dials 911.
You raped me.
Do you know his name?
I know him.
You know him?
I know him.
Do you know where he is right now?
Yeah, I think he's still in his apartment. I just want to see a doctor.
Abby is rushed to the hospital. The sexual assault nurse on call that day reportedly described Abby's injuries as some of the worst she had seen in her 15 years of service. But the Minneapolis police weren't quite convinced it was rape.
The questions that I was being asked were not respectful, and
Like what?
asking me whether or not I said the word no. I told him over and over again that I was begging with Daniel, that I was pleading for him to let me go, and he told me, well, you didn't say no.
Do you feel like the detective believed you?
No. I think that he did once he heard about the injuries.
Police arrest Daniel Dromellum and charge him with rape. And then a twist no one saw coming. Before Abby's bite marks heal or the scratch marks fade,
I got a phone call from the detective telling me that they were not going to press charges.
up next, the secretly recorded phone call that changes everything.
That's it.